Dude, you know
what, they probably are.
You know what I'm excited about? I'm going to be deleting my Facebook.
I did that between the first time that a certain president ran.
Joe Biden.
Barack Obama.
It was actually George H.W. Bush. He was just, she couldn't handle it.
He was too much on there, you know? It was
Really-
like just starting.
Really divided our
I was switching over from MySpace, and he was just songs.
Well, it was
like, I don't
no,
care.
it was the Bill Clinton when he did the saxophone, and he put it on the MySpace. And she's
the
just
Bill Clinton, and it was like too much, just
much too
smooth
much.
town jazz, and I was getting real sick of it. It's like
Him
we
and Kenny
can't
G.
have, like we can't have a Barry White all day every day like Bill Clinton clearly did. I had things to get done, you know.
A life to live.
I had a life to live.
I'm excited, dude. As soon as I told McKenna, I said I wanted to wait because I didn't want her to think I was deleting it because we're in a relationship. And I said, as soon as we take a picture together and you can use it as your profile picture, it's gone. Because then you don't need me in my Facebook anymore.
Well,
I think that's a fair trade.
it is, and I don't use Facebook, so I don't understand your guys' connection to it.
Then y'all have zero.
in any
I don't
way.
have a Facebook. I haven't had it for
6 years or something.
See, it's like I don't. I mean, is your life affected in any way?
The only thing that but I have Amelia for this, is the selling stuff on like the online yard sales on Facebook. Like literally that's the only thing is
the
like,
marketplace.
dang it, I wish I had the marketplace so I could sell some stuff. But I just ask Amelia to do it, or I just put it outside and say it's free because I'm.
AKA find another sucker.
I just that's literally the only thing I'm like, man.
Well, here's the thing. You're right, and there are certain like benefits of it. So I got one, and I added all the farms that were around here so I could get the cheap deals on vegetables and fruit.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that's the extent that I went to with it. Because I'm like, what am I supposed to do? And then people started adding me off Frank's and Mom's.
Oh yeah.
I didn't add you though.
But all the suggestions
like
seem to come from recommended. And so people add just because they want all the friends. And then I got really like weird about it, where I was like, someone would, try to like act like I didn't see that, and I was just like, I'm going to a farms page, and I don't know what this is. I feel like bad about it. I'm like, they don't know that I use it. And then I was freaked out a little bit because I was like, do they know? Does someone know that I'm online? They do, I think. Chill out. No one cares.
They probably do, because it shows it when you're online on LinkedIn.
See what I mean? It's just like, sometimes it's okay to just not be available. Okay, guys?
I know.
That's just not available. Because I mean, now it's like everyone's available constantly. I'm not available sometimes.
I'm not available a
lot. Break a lot. I work a lot, and I work with people, and those people are lonely, and so they always want to connect with their friends. So I'm around a lot of people, but I'm not really interacting with them, and I kind of look at it like robotic, and I enjoy it. I enjoy not having to make connections with people, but still listening to their conversations.
You're like so fun.
You can do screen.
Yes, I can. So you're like so fun.
Well,
to drive it in.
I just like the background, being in the background. I enjoy that position. I would never want to be the face of something,
Oh, I thought you would have said, never mind.
What?
The face of something.
No.
I'm sorry to tell you, you are the face of something.
What am I the face of?
This podcast, you're one of three.
Oh, I'm not the only face. I'm not the face. I'm not the person making all the connections.
Personally, though, I think
kind
you're the funniest on the podcast, so that's a face.
agree.
That's just me being a goof. I'm the goofiest. That's just me being the silliest.
Danielle's the boring one. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
But the thing is,
you realize I just say that. Danielle, you
it
have
really
kids,
hurts
of
my
course.
soul,
Of course,
and
you're not going to be as fun as Victoria. You literally have
I talked
kids.
to my therapist about it. Okay.
You're not boring. You're fun. You do more stuff than either Victoria or I do. See, Victoria's the fun in a goofy way. You're the fun in a let's go do an experience together way.
I am definitely driven by try new things.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. I'm just giving you a hard time.
I'm not.
I just want you to realize I actually don't mean that. That's all.
I got in trouble when I went to a painting class because you're supposed to do the painting, and then at the end you put a person, yourself or like a girl, in the painting. And I was like, I don't want to put a person in the painting, and so I didn't do it. And then I got in trouble because they were like, well, you're supposed to put a person in there, and I'm like, well, I don't want to. I just like it is. I don't want a person in there. And then I felt like that said something about me, because then I was like, I don't want to be in the picture at the end either. So fuck your experience.
Oh, you mean
don't
the
tell
picture,
me what to do
the
in my
group
own
of people?
painting. Yeah, to say like, we did a painting together. I was like, fuck your painting.
So wait,
because mine doesn't have a girl.
You didn't do the picture?
She did the picture. She just left out like the.
No. She didn't do the group picture.
Oh, the group picture.
No.
So what? You just left?
No, I just watched him take the picture, just looked at him, and then I was like, okay, bye. I don't know any of these people.
Yeah, it's true.
And I don't have to do anything that they tell me to do.
It's true.
I guess I've never taken a class, I've never done one of those painting classes on my own. Like, it was always like a group of us that went.
Yeah.
Well, I still don't want to put a girl in the painting, and I don't want to be in the photo at the end either.
Well, I mean, if there's a group of us family.
Yeah, like if we all went together.
You know, when it's you guys, you guys, I'll get in the photo.
Yep.
But if it's random
Damn
people
right.
that have tried to tell me what to do, I don't give a fuck about your class or your reputation or your Yelp review. I don't care. I was here for my experience.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's what I mean. It's like, I enjoy experiences with you guys, but a lot of people disappoint me.
Yeah. Well, the thing is
why
like,
does there have to be a girl?
It's fun to go painting. It's fun to go do that. It's just they make it too many expectations or rules around it, where it's like you got to keep it chill, man.
Well, I think that's a different experience, right? Because you can take painting classes where it's like, hey, I'll show you some techniques, but you paint whatever the hell you want. But you're going to a painting class of like, here's what we're painting this week. So their job is to help you replicate that painting. And when you go off script, they're like, well, what the hell are you here for? Because we clearly post like what we're teaching you to paint.
Yeah, but what if they don't want to paint that anymore?
And now I don't want to paint it.
What do you care?
I don't. I'm just saying.
There was one of the artist ladies. She was just like, I really like your painting. She's like, you know how to blend colors extremely well. It looks like a mosaic. I was like, thank you. And the other ones were like, it's like, you get me, lady. So I'm still not getting in the photo.
Yeah.
But, okay, I just, and I'm not arguing. I'm just giving someone else's perspective, right? Those people that are shaking their heads are probably rule followers, and they have probably a high. I'm not gonna get it, but they probably have like a strong sense of these are the expectations laid out. These are the rules. And you're not following them, and it makes them feel uncomfortable. So it's not anything to do with you. It's just
you're like, it's not personal. It's their problem.
It's an internal thing of like, you're making me uncomfortable because you're not following the rules. So,
they're like, this is how I navigate life. This is how I navigate life, and you're ruining it. I'm like, we're getting real deep in this painting class. I'm just painting. They're like, I'm uncomfortable. I am very uncomfortable.
I'm sweating
right now. I'm so sorry.
Right,
I'm just like, I'm putting more yellow. There's enough yellow. I'm like, there's more yellow. They're like, no.
Exactly. So
I felt like reading this book. I felt like I was just like, Every 5 seconds, I was like Master Shake on freaking Aqua Teen Hunger Force when he's like, "Where are we going?" And he's like, "I don't know." And he's like, "What are they doing?" And he's like, "I don't know. I don't." Yelling. I don't know how to tell you. I have no answers. That's what I was like reading the book, like, what is happening?
Yes.
How did we get here?
Well,
No. Did you guys finish the book?
Hold on. Let's tell everybody hello and welcome.
Yeah.
How about that? Hello and welcome
Hello and welcome.
to another episode of Unseasoned Reviews.
Unseasoned.
Unsausaged.
It's like a sovereign.
Unsausaged review. Unsausage review. That's what it is.
One sausage.
That's actually, it's actually true.
Sausage.
One
actually a true
unseasoned
statement.
sausage.
There is un sausage here.
It's too far.
Seasoned it all. It's bland. Nobody wants it.
It's too far.
It is circumcised.
Luckily, you can't
though.
smell it.
Okay.
because There's no seasoning.
Oh my god.
The season of life.
C6.
You know why they call him a dirty old man?
It's sprinkled with experience.
Okay.
Also known as gonorrhea.
Oh, I need
Get a dash. Mrs. Dash would not be impressed. I would take a painting class with you guys.
Yeah, no, that's why you have to move over here so we can do fun stuff together. Just saying.
no pressure.
I like
though.
to do fun I like to do fun stuff, but I don't like a lot of people, but I
No,
like
I
you
agree.
guys.
Well, that's why we could do fun stuff together
Yeah,
when you're here.
I'm okay
'Cause
with.
we like each other.
I'm okay with people as long as it's like not expected for me to interact. That like in a acting like we're friends or
That's
something.
what I said at the beginning. You want to remain on the periphery and only experience stuff when you feel like it. Exactly.
Yeah.
I want control over my own self.
Yeah.
I want
Is
freedom.
that too much to ask?
Is that so much to ask, life?
You guys are so funny.
Yeah.
I get it, Frank.
Yeah. Well, you
But
and
I
are
also
similar in
admire
that.
you, Danielle.
Well, of course.
'Cause I am not like that.
Exactly.
It's impressive.
I don't know where it came from.
Yeah, me neither.
Neither do I.
I
Well, you've always been more of like a friend person, though. You had friends, you maintained friendships. That was a clear difference from very young.
Yeah,
Because
but
I
they-
didn't. I would have like
they were
one
down
friend and I would
flames,
focus
too.
completely on them, and that was it. Frank had friends, but I think they were revolving around activities, whereas Danielle, it
kept
didn't
them at a
revolve around
distance.
activities.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Them
Kept
very
them at
far.
it.
The
Yeah,
only
you're
real person I let in was
compartmentalized.
Isaac.
You're involved
That
in
was
this part of my life.
it. Isaac, though. Isaac was the close friend I let in.
yeah.
That was it.
I'm happy that you guys are still friends.
See, so did I. I did one friend thing too.
Yeah.
But Yelly had like, she maintained them though. I didn't really
well,
try to
until they
maintain
turned to
them.
shit.
Which young friendships usually do. You change, you grow, you find out different things about people. It's not
That's
a
why
bad
they
thing.
say
it's
it's
just
hard
life.
to maintain, like,
A double
romantic-
life? Oh.
Yeah, exactly. Maintain romantic relationships when you meet really young because you change so much, and if you're both not growing together and like staying on the same page, then it's like faster.
I mean, what has changed about any of us?
Just
So
your
much. I used to be
mental
very, very,
expectations.
very, yeah. Expectations is just such a huge thing, but I think it's also who you see yourself being, because that's one thing you can't predict. You can look at the way someone's acting right now, their behaviors and their past, but you do not know unless they are very honest with you, who they want to really be. And they don't even really know it right now too. So it's like, until you know a kind of general trajectory you're going to be on, you have no idea who that person's going to grow into and if you fit into that. And that's a sad reality. But it's also not sad, because it's just like, you don't know, if you focus on you and what you want to be, you're going to automatically attract those people around you. So I think maybe we focus too much on everyone else outside of us and trying to keep those people close when we should be, I guess, more comfortable with death, which is what death of friendships, death of...
Yeah.
You know what I want to be? You were
What?
saying how
A banana.
until you know what you want to be. No, I want to be one of those street performers that doesn't wear clothes and then paints their body like gold or silver.
So Frankie's moving to Vegas.
No, I'm gonna do it here in Minnesota during the winter.
Oh my.
I feel like he should... I was going to say Reno, because Vegas is like, they're really performers.
Hey,
Reno's
fuck
like...
you. Fuck you, you fucking
Reno's
asshole.
like they're
They're-
trying.
There's some people in Vegas that are not real performers.
Yeah, they're called the homeless.
They tried. They failed.
Just kidding, that's so fucked. Oh my god.
Now I'm uncomfortable.
Every time you see a homeless person, Danielle's the uncomfortable person. Like, there's too much yellow. We gotta pull back on this yellow, you guys.
Stop with the yellow.
So,
Oh.
let's talk podcast, as Danielle likes to say. The podcast.
Yeah, that's how I pronounce it.
Well, you did once, and it's on video, so
And it's looping
yeah,
somewhere in infinity.
yeah, on a screen in the fourth dimension.
Yeah, it's
Uh,
a two-dimensional world that needs unfolded.
Yeah, I wish I could put you into a two-dimensional world.
Same.
You wish you could put yourself in a two-dimensional
No,
world?
you
Oh.
in a happy little space.
I kept
Yeah,
thinking
Dad.
that would be so cute if
would've
we
killed
were
me.
a platformer. Because I kept imagining Mario. I love that game.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Actually, we should be careful with what we're saying. And I started it, so it's my fault. But, okay, so this podcast we read, book number 2 of the 3 Body Problem series. This book was called Death's End. Did I say book 2?
Book
Book
3,
three.
the final,
Book 3.
the
The
final book.
Of the 3 Body Problem series, yeah, Death's End.
Yes.
Wow.
By Sushin Liu.
Let me
Is it
by
Sushin?
Sushin Liu.
Sushin Liu.
Sushin Liu. And it was translated by his son Ken Liu. And okay, so
I think we should address.
we should
what we're
address
all
this real
thinking.
quick. First off, I read in our first podcast, 3 Body Problem, like all these awards that Sushin Liu won, to kind of give a little background of the author. I don't know what any of those awards mean, but either way, this series, very good. Another thing, people say that the first and third books were better. People that read it in English, or yeah, I believe in English. And that, no shade thrown, because I don't know. I liked all 3 books. But Sushin Liu's son Ken translated both the first and the third book. And Danielle was saying she liked the first and third a lot better, and she didn't realize that his son translated those books, and then somebody else translated the second book.
Yeah. The first and third book pulled me in way quicker than the second book. The second book, it was more of a struggle for me to stay interested in the events than the first and third. The first and third, I was like, I am all in, and I want it to keep going. And like Victoria said at the beginning of this podcast, I don't know where I'm going.
Yes.
But I want to keep.
No, the
down
thing
the
is you think you know where you're going, but then that's the main, okay, so this is the third book, that's it.
Well, let's first
thing-
ask Victoria what she thought. What did you think?
Why? What?
The first and third book
Oh, okay.
and then we'll go back to you. What did you think?
I definitely noticed a difference between them, but I would say that all of the books really pulled me in. The third, though, pulled me in the quickest, for sure. The third book pulled me in really fast. Like, I was like,
Yeah.
oh shit, like I have to keep going right now.
To find out.
And I was even like reading at work and things. Bad, I'm sorry, but there's like 10 minutes I'm like trying to,
Just
figure
eke
out what
a couple
happens.
pages, yeah.
let's get a couple in.
Yes.
Couple
But-
pages.
Yeah,
Sorry for
but I love the second book though, too.
The
I loved all of them.
No, I loved all of them
loved
too.
No, you didn't. Don't you lie.
Okay, but
Let's
it
pull up the
was-
translator's name. What was his name? Let's call him out right now. She's calling you out.
It was
she
harder.
hates
It was harder
you.
for me to stay engaged.
She could put somebody into a 2D plane. It'd be you. What I was gonna say was, I forgot now. Damn it.
Put Frank
Sorry.
into a 2D plane and let him come back out when he's ready.
It's done. What the heck were we talking about before all that? Talking about the first and the third. Oh, I know what I was gonna say. So all I was gonna say is the main thing about this book is you're gonna think you know where it's going, and you're gonna think that's the state of being now. That's the state of the universe. That's just how it's gonna be now. And he flips it on its head, and he does that like 5 or 6 times, and it's just like, Sushin, please, for the love of God, you're hurting me. But it's so good. It's so good.
It is because, and it's funny because and not funny, because he puts you in this new state of the world, and you're kind of like, the other series we read, where
Yes.
you're like, right?
No.
Oh, Peter Brett.
Peter
You're
Brett.
like,
Yeah.
Stop
you're
it.
Like, yes. You're like, what the hell? You just flipped
What?
it.
Oh, I have it, Yelly. What Peter Brett does to characters progression,
Yes.
Sushin Liu does to environment progression in this book.
Oh, yeah, that's a good way of putting it.
Correct.
That's a
And
good
you
way of
get
putting
That's what it is.
You get comfortable with an environment, and you're like, all right, I guess this is it.
Yeah.
And then it's like, nope, just kidding.
Yep.
No. Gosh, it is. You cannot predict anything.
No, you can't.
That's the one thing. You can't predict anything. And in this book, my favorite character did not come back. They were dead.
Oh,
They
yeah,
actually
true.
died.
They were
The
dead.
detective?
Yes.
Yeah.
What's his
Does it
name?
talk about him at all?
No, it doesn't mention him
No.
at all.
Not once.
Oh, man, what is his name?
I can't think of it.
Hold on.
But
I'm looking up. She. What'd they call him? Dasha.
Dasha. That's it. Dasha did not come back, which is sad. But the cool thing is, I discovered I actually missed a lot of people that were in the third book. Isn't that weird? It was weird for me because
We're in the
usually
third book.
what
What
a
do you mean?
story.
you mean in the second book?
No, in the third book, I was missing people from the previous
Oh,
books
Got it, got
yeah.
when I was reading it,
Yep.
and I realized like there'd be points where I would realize that person is dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I would like, I didn't realize that it would matter to me so much that I'm like, wow, they've been dead forever.
Right. Like years
Jeez.
and years. Yeah.
Yeah.
Years, decades, centuries now. And you're just like, and I feel, because I just finished the book this morning, I feel like in a couple days, I'm going to cry about like the ending. I can feel that. And so I'm just like, this book really, it reminded me, you know what? If you've ever seen the movie Cloud Atlas, where you go through many lifetimes,
Wait, hold on.
it reminded me of that kind of,
That movie sucked.
kind of. You hated Cloud Atlas?
It was confusing as hell.
You have to watch it more. It's literally my favorite movie.
I need to watch it. I have never watched
All right, I will watch it. And when I hate
It
it
is.
again.
Oh, it is so good. And when you realize which characters are being performed by other characters, you're like, what? It blows your mind every single time. And it's the same idea as this. It's basically the nature versus nurture. That's what this whole book is about, is nature versus nurture. Like, nature is an impending automatic thing that will continue to happen. It's going to continue. That's what you keep coming up against, the actual things, it's reality in the world, physical reality, what's going on with it. And then there are the internal systems that we create and we build within us that are psychological. They don't actually exist, and we can't touch them or manipulate them other than to add new creative ideas or interact with other people or things or objects, but it's always changing. Both of them are, but one of them is just external from you. And so this world that he creates, Sushin Liu, the 3-body problem, this whole trilogy, all you're doing is, it's like you're trying to keep a sense of yourself within this insane,
chaotic,
these insane environments. Chaotic environments he puts you in. But the thing is, there are things that you can depend on that are psychological. And one of the main ones that he presents to you is love. Love is something that transcends all environment, all laws, everything. It always exists. It continues. It always goes on. And so it's really a romantic story when you get down to it. It's really romantic. And it's surprising. Mixed with science, you know.
I told that to Frankie. I'm like, you get to the middle of the third book and you realize, oh my God, this is a love story.
This is a love story.
Like, how did we get here? And now it's a love story? Like, this is insanity.
But it's a love story you are so invested in. And then, I'm not even going to tell you. I'm not even going to tell you what happens at the end of this dang love story, romance story that is so technical. You will not even take horses and ranches and cowboys and things, faraway princes and castles and fantasy stories, and make them all technical data, and it's a romance story.
Well, then add in planets.
Yep. Solar system.
Different types of spaceships, different types of propulsion systems, different types of galaxies, different dimensions. And that's what you get.
Different civilizations.
Yes.
And then add in the romance, and there's your romance story. It is. But the ending's going to shock you. It's not going to disappoint you.
It's not even the ending.
It will shock you.
It's the ending. There was 5 or 6 where it was like, this is the end. This is it. This will be the state of being. Until you end up at the final one and you're like, okay, well.
But that's the thing that I think he was trying to represent, is that there is no final one.
Well, don't give it away.
Yeah, don't give it away.
Now let's all just chill for a second, because we haven't even given a summary of the book.
Yeah, we need to.
Like the back of the book.
Danielle and I just did. So we've been doing our work.
Well, yeah, here's what you should know. Take Yellowstone, the award-winning series about ranchers, turn that into spaceships, data, and it's basically this. So
goodbye. Thank you for coming to the podcast. I don't know what Yellowstone is.
Me neither. I haven't seen it yet, but I hear it's good. So for anybody that doesn't know what this book's about, so this is a trilogy series. This is the last book. And the summary is that half a century after the Doomsday Battle, that was the battle where the Earth sent out its fleet and was killed by 2 droplets, these 2 little particles. The uneasy balance of dark force deterrence. Now remember, the dark force means that any civilization out there realizes that other civilizations are going to kill them, so everybody's looking for those other civilizations to destroy them first. That's basically the idea of dark force. And the deterrence is that Luoji is the sword holder. He is the one that is holding the button that will transmit the location of Trisolaris, so that way Trisolaris doesn't attack.
Transmit it out into the universe, so that any other...
The location of their sun will be given away.
Yep.
And then the other civilizations will destroy it. So that keeps Trisolarian invaders at bay. Earth enjoys unprecedented prosperity due to the infusion of Trisolarian knowledge. With human science advancing daily and the Trisolarans adopting Earth culture, it seems that the 2 civilizations will soon be able to coexist peacefully as equals without the terrible threat of mutually assured annihilation. But the peace has also made humanity complacent. Chung Xin, an aerospace engineer from the early 21st century, awakens from hibernation in this new age. She brings with her the knowledge of a long-forgotten program dating from the beginning of the Tri-Solar Crisis, and her very presence may upset the delicate balance between the 2 worlds. Will humanity reach for the stars or die in its cradle? Wow.
I just got chills. Like, it's...
Yeah.
And how much this book makes you think about humanity and
our place in the universe.
And like, we talked a tiny bit about what we would do if there were contact with another existence as a human race. And like, again, this book made me look up things like what the hell a fourth dimension would be. It's like, crazy. Yeah. Crazy good.
It's all stuff that I've looked into though already and come to a conclusion with. Yeah. So I just felt like, yep, this all makes sense. If you think about it, that things just continue. That's what I got to at the end of it. It's not because that's what I feel like during life. I'm expecting.
Would you chill out with your little pointing at the end?
With a piece of paper that I could just drop into this conversation right now and explode everything that went on in the end.
It's not an explode. It's a
little drop of paper. Anyway.
Now I have to cut all that, you son of a
But
bitch.
the overall thing is, the trigger warning for this book, if there was a trigger warning, is if you have any sense of an existential crisis of where you are in the world and who you are and how you matter and what your purpose is, this book is going to trigger you further. Like will be triggered
because you don't.
If you have any, the thing is,
everyone matters.
That's the point. Matters. If you're having an existential crisis, I think the main thing is you haven't gotten to that place of oneness where you're like, I am everything and nothing all at once.
Exactly.
So this book will trigger you if you have not gone through those thought processes. You will not like it. And it kind of makes the reviews that we looked at then the last make sense. Because you just think people don't like looking at technical data. They don't like things to have a concrete answer. But they also don't like things to have a concrete answer, because if you're lost, any sense of direction like that somebody else gives you, and it's leading slightly away from a feeling that you have or psychology or a context you live within, it's really triggering. It makes you go, I can't accept two diverse things at once. I can't accept two concepts that battle each other. And in this book, that's what you're dealing with a lot, is the environment versus the psychological, the nature versus nurture. It's constant. And this book, the way Sushin Liu lays it out for you, you're going to travel through so many different contexts and see how people live and adjust to them. And it can be very triggering for sure if you're not okay with change, because this book is all about death and rebirth. It's all about cycles. It's really good.
You know how I describe it with the existential crisis is that basically because there's a lot of people living in space, and space is obviously not. It's the worst environment for us. It's the worst environment for life in general. It shows you the very brutal nature of nature itself, and how just the life outside of us and nature itself, it doesn't care about us, and things are just going to happen whether we like it or not. And that's what I think can create the existential crisis, where it's like, yeah, maybe there is no one purpose throughout life, like here's what you're supposed to do, like somebody else created it for you. But that's where, if you are dealing with that, let me just say this, if you are dealing with that, life is what you make it. Okay, so you define the purpose, which makes it beautiful. So
you need to be the sun in your own world. You need
let's
to light
throw
your own
8
life.
more analogies at it, and then maybe it'll get through their thick skulls.
Space is the mother. The darkness is mother. That's everything is allowed to exist.
Hey,
that's what mothers do.
Your little weird tarot
weird.
cards. Danielle, I'm purposely.
Well, it's
not. You ruined the whole vibe, you son of.
You make me feel uncomfortable.
It's just I poked a little fun in it, but I don't. I liked actually what she was saying. I'm just doing it for effect. Okay?
I'm doing a bit, Danielle.
Yeah, you fuck.
That's the thing. That's the scary part of Mother Nature, is that Mother allows everything to exist. Like within the womb, anything can grow, anything can be there. You don't know what it's going to be either. It's unknown to you. You're going to find out at the end. It's something that holds and contains all, and that's what space is. And then every little sun within there, that's all your possibilities. What can exist?
Dude,
and
you know
so
what?
it's it's simultaneously a negative space as well as being a positive space, because the possibility is there, and that's what feminine nature represents, is possibility. Yeah. Exactly.
Dude, okay, so this book made me go, and I've already looked this up before, and I've already thought about this before, of like the statistical improbability that there isn't any other or any other civilizations out there, any other advanced life out there. And so I was trying to explain it to McKenna, and she was like, I don't know, I just don't really think about it that often. I was like, listen, just think about this, okay? think about this. I was like, how many stars are in the galaxy, in the Milky Way? They say there's about 100 billion stars, okay? Then I said, how many galaxies are there? And there was, what was it? They said something like 50 billion galaxies out there. How many galaxies are there? There are about 125 billion galaxies. So there's 100 billion stars, and there's 125 billion galaxies out there. Or sorry, there's 100 billion stars in the Milky Way, and there's 125 billion galaxies. Now, let's say some galaxies are smaller than ours, right? So let's just cut it in half to 50. We'll just do a nice cut in half, right? So if you were going to say how many suns are out there in the universe, it would be 50 times 125. So let's just even say 100 billion to make it super easy. So it's 50 billion, which is, what is that? 12 zero? No, it's not 12. It's 11 numbers, 10 zeros is 50 billion. If you added 100 billion onto it, that is 11 more zeros that you would have to add on to 50 billion, and that's how many suns there are. So a 5 with roughly 21 zeros or something like that, maybe 20 zeros behind it. That's how many suns there are. And on one of those, we know there's life because there's us. So if you don't think there's fucking aliens out there on another one of those suns, or on one of the planets revolving around those suns, don't fucking listen. How about that?
You're not gonna like it.
I don't know why I got angry at the end, but I'm just saying.
Hey, you started to get angry about it.
But that is how many suns are out there.
I was feeling happier.
I took it down real quick. But that is how many freaking suns are out there, roughly. Like, that's insanity.
I think it's because you got upset at small-mindedness for like a split second. You were like, expand your mind, open your mind.
Close, yeah. What made
be as
me
open
really,
as the universe.
Really think is like how fragile.
They stopped eating food, like regular food.
No,
and you said I can't live here.
I don't, yeah.
And you hibernated.
I would check out. How fragile our existence really is. Like, there again, you go through.
I'm not fragile.
Many cycles.
I lift a lot of weight.
Many cycles.
I drive a big truck.
Such a liar face. How fragile. If anything happened and it just would,
America's flag on my.
How quickly people turn against each other. I don't.
I'm not fragile.
Yeah. That was
Sorry,
amazing.
Could you repeat all
Yelly.
Why am I part of this podcast? I don't know.
Just go, Yelly.
Sorry, but you were saying how fragile our whole existence is. Here we go.
Ben, you can't come down here. What? Ask Weston. Weston will help you. Go tell him I said he has to.
Say please, that you're going to get hot chocolate and he won't if he doesn't help. Please. Shut the door.
Thank you.
He needed a new Minecraft world created, such as the new worlds that were created in this book. Danielle, basically what you said was how fragile our world is.
Well, no, it's just that how quickly we would turn on each other if we were forced to live a different way. Or, and honestly, it's crazy because we're living some of that in our world. But
let's not get political.
Let's not.
Okay.
But
fuck Donald Trump.
Okay. Let's not do things. You gotta cut that.
I will. I'll cut that.
But it's a little bit terrifying, right? But I totally agree. You can't, like, you should be aware of that, but you cannot dwell on it. Like, you have to be, I really liked how you put it, Victoria. You have to be your own sun in your world and create your peace and center and do your best, right? And it sounds like kindergarten, like, do your best. It's literally what you should be focusing on, though. Is like your mental stability, your happiness, and attracting other people that are in the same wavelength. Because I read something the other day, it's like our brains are magnets, and anything you're putting out there is what you're going to attract back.
Technically, that's not correct, but okay.
So if you're putting out negative vibes and negative energy and your everything, that's the way you think, that's the kind of people you're going to attract to yourself. So.
I think that makes sense, though, and I'm going to go against you, Frank, when you said that that's not technically correct. Maybe not technically, but Danielle, they've studied brains while they are playing music together, a band, and they've studied their brains all at once. And when they're playing the music together, all of their brains will follow the same wavelength. They'll get on the same wavelength. And they've studied this. So, doesn't it make sense that if you're like creating music in your life, we'll call it, you're going to start inviting the people around you that are following that same wavelength, right? So then the vibes and everything, it starts to make sense. The way, you know, I know people say it's frou-frou. Yeah. But it does make sense.
Like,
it's not.
No,
internally, like, we've talked about that, but like, if I'm around a negative person, like, that is just...
Well, let's go like this. Let's say like this, because when I came over here, when I came over here, there was a lot of things going on in the world. Danielle and I were talking about them, and we both started getting more angry and pissed off. And then we stopped talking about them, and we're less angry and pissed off.
Yeah.
So we almost built each other on that wavelength.
Yeah.
Of just going to the dark, like, humanity is ending.
Yeah, and then we were like, we got to stop this. Like, let's change the projection.
Yeah.
But again, like, I fully believe you should be aware of what's going on, but you have to make a choice of how you're going to manage it and how you're going to live your life.
Of course. And it also goes back to, no, it's my turn. Screw you guys. You both have talked.
I know.
I was just going to say this. I was just going to go back to what Victoria said earlier about how she doesn't like people that put expectations on her that she doesn't want. And so that's where you need to find people in your life that are allowing you to not have to text them back all the time, because they don't need to be needy. They can go and talk to their other partner or friends and leave you alone for a little bit.
Other partner. Frankie's in a throuple.
It's actually, I'm in what's called a community organized sex cult.
There's no schedule.
It's not a relationship.
It's not a relationship. There are no relations going on. Like,
there's actually zero sex involved. Really, all we do is we just clean out this person's house a bunch. And don't get paid for it.
We don't get paid. But that's our kink, so it kind of is sexual.
No, I was there for the orgies, but apparently there aren't any, and now I'm just there cleaning this man's house.
So we were just cleaning, and that's what they call an orgy. Basically, they hijacked words, and they don't mean what you think they mean. And then you're cleaning someone's house.
So basically, yeah, I'm not gonna go there. All right, let's move on.
Oh man, but this book, I mean, I don't even know what we would say to get you interested. Like,
I do. It says it right on the front cover. I thought this person's The New Yorker. It says, Lou's writing evokes the thrill of exploration and the beauty of scale. Extraordinary. That's the thing. If you want to have the kind of experience that is basically like watching Star Wars for the first time, or just imagining something completely outside the scope of anything that you could have possibly imagined before, this book it'll take you there. It'll take you there many times over, to a place where you never thought of going, you never imagined, you never put into words anything near it, and then it'll continue to change it and do it again to you over and over. And this book, it's kind of like a fight almost. It's like you have to deal with so much new information, but at the same time, he's pulling you along this string. I don't know how he does it, honestly, because I've read to other technical stuff and I've gotten extremely bored extremely quick. He keeps you so engaged while throwing at you concepts far and away from anything you've ever thought of.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's anything you've ever thought of. He throws you in there, but he keeps you going through it. And so it's almost like at the end of it, you feel super accomplished just because you're like, how did I read all that technical stuff? But also, your mind has been almost like what they do in the book. It's gone through different dimensions, and you've gone through this cycle. And at the end of it, you definitely are changed because of all of this, but also you come back to a very basic realization like we did, which is that the romance aspect or the love aspect and the purpose of life. And I think it's like the fight between nature and nurture, or science and love, or science and emotion. Soft science and hard science, or whatever. I'm just saying, if you want that kind of experience, if you're drowning in mundanity, if you're annoyed with the way that we're kind of automatons in our lives and we have a lot of things going on, this book is going to take you completely outside of anything you've ever experienced.
Mm-hmm. I think they're good.
Highly recommend it.
I do like the idea of talking about the scale of it, because that's again going back to the existential crisis, because you're going to be looking at an entire universe and different beings inside that, and what our place would be in that universe and how our decisions would affect it, but then how somebody else's decision affects the entire fate of humanity, or the entire fate of the Trisolarans, or the entire fate of some other alien civilizations that might come up, to where it gets just like, it gets crazy, but it really honestly makes you think, because I started so I would call McKenna after work on the way home from work. But after I was into this book, I was just started listening to it on the way home. She goes, "You listened to your book, huh?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I did." It's just, I can't stop. But then I'd also, when I wasn't listening to it, I'd be thinking about it in the back of my head.
Yeah.
I'd be going, man, what if this? Man, what if that? Like, what if we were able to go to this other star? Or what if, like, what's that look like? Or what if we are able to build space stations up there that we can live on for long-term life? It's a thinker, man. It makes you think, and it's fun. To me, it's fun, but I've always liked it.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Well, and just the thought of how fast they're able to travel through space.
Yeah.
Like, is mind-blowing.
Yeah.
The hibernation is mind-blowing. Yeah. The whole thing, you keep thinking that you just, and looking stuff up and going, what the heck? And
yeah.
It is, and the Death's End, like, what a great title for this third book. Like,
yes.
I was wondering how he's gonna.
We talked about that. We were like, Death's End, it doesn't mean this. We talked about it. Now we know. And if you want to know, read the damn book.
Read the book. It's so good.
Should we, just for our own sake, talk about some spoilers just to see what everybody thought?
I want to talk about one thing. I do have one thing I want to say.
Okay, so we'll just say real quick, spoiler alert, if you don't want to hear that. Any specific spoilers, then turn off the podcast, I guess.
We'll leave a timestamp when the spoilers end.
I won't. Go ahead.
I'll flip my hair like this and you'll know. Spoilers have ended. You can unmute it. I just wanted to say, did any of you, when I don't know how to say his name, Yun, the guy who's the brain.
One.
It's
Yun.
Tin Ming.
Un Tin Ming. Yep.
That is.
Un Tin Ming. Did you ever think that his, just one of humans from Earth injected into Trisolaran society had influenced all of the art, music, poetry? It just influenced it, because think about it. He created those fairy tales.
Yeah.
But do you remember way earlier, when we had thought that he had died, he had just been lost to space?
Yeah.
But then AA had said to, is it Chung?
Oh no, it's
Chung-Shin?
Chung-Shin.
Chung-Shin, when AA had said to her, you'd be amazed that comes from Tri-Solarian Society.
Mm-hmm.
And I later, when he came back, I was like, did just one influence from Earth, how much did that alter Tri-Solarian understanding of humans? And did it have an effect on them in a positive way to bring love to them as well? Because I thought they could have just killed all of Earth, but instead they tried to resettle us.
Mm-hmm.
And that would have also been awful.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying, it's weird that they didn't just try to kill us all or annihilate us.
That's what they were going to do in book 1.
Right.
That's what they were going to do. So that's what I was wondering. Did you ever think that? I always thought, I was like, right when I got to that part where he was still there, I was like, did he just them interacting with him must have altered them, just how like when people sociologists observe different cultures, no matter how much we try to remain observers, we always impact them.
Yeah.
And so
even in the first book, I think it came up in the second book, but the guy in the first book that received the message from Earth, he says, is it at the end of the second book where he says, is this love?
Yes.
Right? So he says, is this love? So even that, and they project their thoughts, right? So it's like that domino effect. So I think absolutely there was, right? They learned like, oh, they have a different way of viewing the people that they are partners with, or that they interact with, or that they...
Will you stop hitting the table?
I don't know why I'm doing that, but
Stop.
yes, absolutely. I think there was a cause and effect.
Yes, I thought so.
I think there is, but I think that their culture is just, I think they're already intrigued by us. But I do think he's going to have an effect. It's just hard to know what is what because they don't go into it as much, right? So what we do know.
But I kind of love that.
Yeah, because you can think in your head that this guy had this large effect that made them fall in love even more with our culture. Like, or more of them did fall in love.
I think it probably did.
It could. It definitely could because, like... I mean, if we were to find an alien civilization right now, we would want to know everything about them. We would like, how do you do this? How do you do that? It's like when you get somebody, it's like when you get a foreign exchange student over here and you want to know how they live their lives, or why we want to go over to another country and just see, how do you live? What do you do? What are your daily routines? How do you say this? How do you say that? What are your curse words, right? We love that. So, I mean, it could have. Now, what about the end though? When they don't return the matter to the universe, will the universe care? Oh, and by the way, Victoria, and I'm not going to tell her why, Danielle, she only missed about 15-20 minutes of this book, and it's right, she doesn't know why Chung-Shin and Wan Yifan missed she doesn't know what happened when they went from the... She doesn't know about them going to the gray planet, then coming back to the blue planet. I know. And I'm like, dude, that's big. And it's so...
It's like 15-20 minutes. She's like, what could it matter?
It's... Because she was right there at the end, so she just skipped to the end so that way she could get it. So she missed all of that and doesn't know. And that right there, that dude, that's a feeler.
And I probably would have had time. So I was skipping around a little bit, but I got stuck in Chung-Shin. I was listening to...
Oh, you got stuck, huh?
I didn't get stuck. I wanted to hear a different part of the story, so I was like, I need to listen to this.
No, that stuck part was for Victoria. That was a little...
But, it's gonna make me cry later. And I know that, and that sucks.
Yeah.
But I know it's gonna come up.
But
like in a couple days, I'm gonna be like, this damn book.
Danielle, you have to go listen to that part.
Oh,
like,
I'm going back and listening.
It is so worth it.
I'm going back and listening because I some parts I sped up, and I'm gonna listen to the whole thing.
I wish we could talk about it right
detail.
down now, you son of a bitch.
You go ahead.
No, because you need to listen to it.
We're gonna flip our hair. We're gonna go away from spoilers. Let's read. I want to hear some reviews. Are we going? Are we at the review stage?
Let's do it.
I want to hear some
Let's look at our
reviews.
outline real quick and make sure we didn't miss anything. Yep. We're good.
Okay.
Do we know what we're reading next?
Yeah, we're doing the. We're
Sorry,
not there yet.
Sorry.
We're not there yet.
Sorry.
She's skipping ahead. Little.
Which is like, I want to know.
Okay, so reviews. Do we want to see the 5 stars or the 1 stars first? Let's do 1 stars.
5 stars.
No, let's do 1 stars and end on 5 stars.
Okay.
So we don't end on. Okay. Too expensive for being a well-used copy.
Okay.
Wow.
An atheistic nightmare. Absolutely nothing happens in the. This could be a spoiler. An atheistic nightmare. Absolutely nothing happens in the billions of years that this novel encompass. Only strange, impossible physical events, one after the other, there, and then everybody dies.
What?
Warning, spoiler. He did say warning, spoiler. Okay. Can I say something real quick though? For those that are religious, because I'll just say this, I'm not religious. But for those that are religious, evolution doesn't mean that there's not some grand creator. The Big Bang doesn't rule out that there's not some grand creator. Like, you can still have your God. That doesn't, it's, those two don't have to be at ends with, or at odds with one another. We don't know how the universe was created. We don't know how life was created. It's a big mystery. And even as we figure it out, that still doesn't rule out God. So it's...
Well, and there's a part in this book where it talks about the odds of us becoming.
Yeah.
And like it's astronaut. So they're like, there's always this hint of, was there a hand in it?
Yeah.
Right? So
Yeah.
to say that it's atheistic, I don't agree with it.
Yeah. And
And I will say that I do believe in God, creator. I'm not religious, but I do believe in a creator of a source of however this all came to be. And I do pray and things like that. But when I read this book, in no way does it affect that, because of the fact that we don't know how the universe was created anyway. And in fact, usually the way I look at it is the universe itself. But yeah, I would say I disagree with this being atheistic, because it talks about, there are spaces in the book where it talks about how like world religion morphed and changed as they came into new information and stuff like that. The thing is, that's all created by humans. We still can't comprehend or even understand. I think even when you read this book, the reason why it has such the scale that it does, if you thought about God in terms of something you cannot possibly completely imagine, you cannot encompass all of it, this book does that to you. It's showing you the grandness of space, what can happen, what can exist. And so, if anything, I think this book opens your mind up more to realize it's almost as if anything is possible. And I think that's the way that we describe God, being a miracle maker and things like that, is anything is possible. You never know what is going to happen or what could happen. And that's why it so matters to bring purpose to your own life. So yeah, I disagree with that atheistic thing, being a person that does believe. So
somebody else said, too dense and focused on trivial and unrelated minor items that had nothing to do with the story. Felt like things were being stretched to fill another book. I felt like everything, even when he talked about the trivial, like it might not, it did come back and had an effect on the story. Like everything did. Like I was trying to think of one thing that...
Well, he's leading you breadcrumbs, right?
Yeah.
Of like, here's where I'm taking the story. He's leaving you breadcrumbs throughout the story, and my personal thought is like, he is trying to show you the cause and effect of our actions and our belief system and our, like, if we are so, I just, how quickly we can turn barbaric. Like, to me, that stuck out so much in this story. No matter how...
All it takes is 5 minutes.
No matter how... How, like,
totalitarianism
your world is, like, how quickly it can change.
Yeah.
It's just...
Well, and also one thing that this writer does is he keeps alive somebody through all the way through. He keeps alive someone who is described as basically being a lover.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's a key point in here, is that he is hopeful. This book is hopeful. It's not atheistic in a very a dry, cold sort of way. It's very hopeful at the end of this book, even, that such a character that is basically completely loving and looks at herself as weakness incarnate, she survives this whole thing. And so basically she is cradled, and I think that's what we're coming
there, so just be careful.
Sorry. That's what we're coming back to at the end of this whole thing, is that what we focus on, what we choose to cradle, hold, and support matters the most. That matters. And so, yeah, we can turn barbaric in a split second, but it just takes a split second to go back to caring and to being sacrificial. And I mean, remember the character Phrase? I don't know how you say his name properly. The Aboriginal?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And he was extremely calm and peaceful. And he would just, the calls that he would make, where he would say, child, the sun is rising, or the sun is setting. Things that are so simple.
Yeah, he would literally be like, the sun is rising, it's going to get better. Like, that hopeful light. Again, the people you surround yourself with, of like,
it matters.
It matters, yeah.
Yeah. And actually, it's funny.
And if go on.
I was just gonna say, this next review says that they didn't have great characters in the book, and I'm like, dude, you missed it.
What did you read?
Yeah. Because guess who's there? We have Chung Sheen, and we have AA, who's also amazing. We have Thomas Wade, amazing.
Yeah, amazing character.
And Luoji,
who I came to love. I came to love Wade, and I didn't think that would happen.
Yeah.
That was a really cool moment.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler.
No, that's not a spoiler.
I didn't know that.
That's not a spoiler. They have no idea. Now let's see what the 5 stars say. Holy God, it's the first one.
The first one is like a short story.
Yeah, it's seriously, honestly, it's probably a good
this podcast
2,000 words. Wouldn't you say, Danielle? It's probably at least 2,000 words.
They wrote a dissertation on this
Seriously.
body problem.
Guys, it's time for some Dark Forest deterrence game theory.
Don't read that whole thing. Just read.
I'm not.
You can't.
Okay, it opens just like you would expect the final volume of an insanely ambitious, hard science fiction series to open, with a magician offering to help the emperor prevent the fall of Constantinople in 1453. That's true. Wait, what? This has never been a series interested in hewing to convention, and so we get a story spanning a few million years, specifically 1453 to 18,906,416.
I love this person. Okay, so read this.
This is spoilers for the first 2 books. Did I say that Death's End is insanely ambitious? And it purports to encompass most of the history of humanity and of the universe within its scope. And indeed, all things must end, but nor is life nothing but a fragile, thin, soft shell clinging to the surface of this planet. As another work of science fiction put it, life finds a way.
So good.
Right there, dude.
I want to meet this person.
That's very true. That's very true.
It's so good.
I love it. Do you remember the very final scene?
Yeah.
Do you remember the final scene?
Yeah.
That the words written where it's a fish jumping.
Yes.
And I'm like, fucking
exactly.
Stop it. Stop it. Because yes, it's exactly what you want. It's so satisfying.
Yep, and the glint of sunlight going off of them. Yeah.
You're just like,
dude, seriously, this next 5-star review, Victoria, is another 2,000 words. So the people that love this book, they love it. And guess what?
They
We're on
love
board.
it.
Guess what the next one is? It's another 2,000 word essay.
well, let me tell you this.
Epic.
Let me tell you this. This is why if you love the movie Cloud Atlas,
Yep.
you get what I'm saying. You'll get at the end of this book, you'll get what I mean. If you do not love Cloud Atlas, watch it again.
I will
Watch it more
that.
carefully, like you were reading a book, because you will gain that sense of, oh my gosh, this cause and effect is the biggest thing in that movie that matters. It matters. It has your purpose in life. You see that with one of the main characters in this book. Her purpose in life, she views herself first as just a tool or a pawn, something no one cares about, then as someone very powerful, then she views herself as weak and worthless and everyone hates her, and then she goes to this place of becoming peaceful almost with who she is and just allowing herself to exist. It is a coming of age story, but on the level of humanity, like on a level of lifetimes, over lifetimes. And so that's the same thing that Cloud Atlas does. So if you love Cloud Atlas, you absolutely will love this book series. I'm going to tell you that. If you don't love it, if you read this book, you might, because I know Frank just said he doesn't like Cloud Atlas. I'm telling you.
No, I know, but here's the thing. I love this. Certain people probably, like tons of people aren't going to like this book. There's going to be a certain mindset that they're just not going to want to slog through all this technical stuff and concepts that don't make sense and that you have to read a couple times, but they will pay off later. But there's going to be people like that. Like I told McKenna, like, you probably won't like this, honestly. Like, I just don't think it's for you because you're not interested in it. Like the fact that she doesn't want to think about how there's 50 with 20 more zeros following it suns out there and how could there not be life, and she doesn't even want to think about that concept. Just because of that alone, I'm like, you probably won't like this book. Now, what I will say is this review right here, in which the series ends as it lived. Complex, thoughtful, epic, and intimate all at once. That's exactly it. It's hard to know where to begin talking about the three-body problem trilogy, officially known as the Remembrance of Earth's Past series, a truly staggering piece of science fiction written by Chinese author Cixin Liu and translated to English by Ken Liu and Joel Martinson. A trilogy that spans literally thousands of years, deals with quantum physics, game theory, sociology, religion, space exploration, space colonization, and more, all driven by the nature of first contact with alien intelligence. There's a lot going on in this series, and that's before you start realizing just how much Cixin blah 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 truly takes on the advanced science of his ideas. And yet when you finish it, you realize that what you've read is something incredible, a piece of hard science fiction whose ambition, scope, riches, and ideas are impossible not to find yourself thinking about for days afterward. That's it, right there.
I think it'll be years afterward. It's such a good.
It is, and I wasn't expecting. Like, I like this series, but I was not expecting to think about it this much.
Yeah, let me tell you guys this. When I got to the end of this, because are we finished with the review section? Because this might be a nice segue.
Yes, we are done.
So when I got done with this, I thought for a split second, because I have already recommended the next book, it was my turn to recommend, and I recommended my favorite book series, which is the Night Angel trilogy by Brent Weeks. We'll be reading the first book, which I think it's called it's right there. I forgot. It's in my car. The book's in my car right now. The Way of Shadows. The Way of Shadows. And I, for a split second, thought, oh my gosh, I read that book series so long ago. I have not returned to it, by Brent Weeks, because it was so impactful and it hit me so hard. And it's kind of it's like a movie you won't watch again. I won't watch 7 Pounds with Will Smith again because it made me cry so much. Yeah. So I, for a split second, thought, are we going down? Did I recommend a book that is not written well? And that's how much Cixin Liu's The Three-Body Problem trilogy
Go back to where you
impressed me. Was I questioned my favorite trilogy ever if it was worthy of being read by my siblings. So it's an amazing book, and I cannot recommend it highly enough. It literally made me question something I love.
Yeah, I agreed. Victoria, it says that there's a book 0.5 called Perfect Shadow. Do we need to read that? You'll definitely want to read the trilogy before you. Yes, okay, so we're going to read book 1, 2, and 3.
It's like The Hobbit. It's like The Hobbit, like that.
Okay, so we're reading the Night Angel trilogy, The Way of Shadows by Brent Weeks. The second one will be Shadow's Edge, and the third one is Beyond the Shadows.
Yes.
Okay.
It's a fantasy book. You absolutely, read do you have the back of it, Frank?
I can get it. Give me a second.
So we can all kind of get an idea. I have not read the back of it. I just got it from the library yesterday.
Three Body Problem series. Just remember, everybody, if you thinking, I don't know if I want to read it, they're making it into a Netflix series. So if you want to be ahead of it and you want to get pissed off later because they didn't make it as good, just saying.
I know. It's like, I don't even know how they're going to.
I don't know.
There's so much. There's so much. The scope, like Victoria said, the scale, it's so big. There's so many little elements. I keep thinking
they don't have the ability. I think they don't have the ability to do it.
Scenes.
Yeah, like
you're like, how? How's that?
But yeah, and to be able to skip around in time, but then make it all make sense. It's like, good luck to you, sir. Good luck. But anyway,
and we will be judging you.
Netflix has put out a lot of questionable material though, so maybe they're like, come on guys, we gotta try. We gotta try something real.
Came out with some real good series, so why don't you slow your ass up, huh?
I'm just saying.
Listen,
some of it's been questionable.
Listen, Mr. Spacey himself, yeah, he did some gross stuff, but House of Cards, that was a great series. It was absolutely great. Now, Stranger Things.
Oh,
so good, right? Now,
have not finished it. Will not finish it ever.
Well, you are
I can't.
Uncultured.
I love it too much. It needs to live on, and I won't let it die.
Okay, fair enough. I appreciate that. You know,
That's how I live my life.
It's got one more season, so you could watch through season 4.
You know, as we
age, but I'm not gonna.
This is Victoria. As we age, as we get older, there will be a certain point.
I swear to God, if you hit the table one more time, do it.
So old, she'll be like, you know what? I'm gonna check out now because I don't want to see your end. Like, we can't talk anymore.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
She will not even like. Do not contact me for this person's
Not
funeral.
true, because I lucid dream a lot. So whenever we die, whoever dies first, I'm gonna be visiting you. Don't worry. Because in the lucid dream stage, I just think and I'm where I want to be.
Let's be real here. I'm gonna die first. Okay, so Night Angel trilogy, The Way of Shadows. This is what it says: for Durzo Blint, assassination is an art, and he is the city's most accomplished artist. Dude, already we're going, oh yeah, Victoria said this is like Assassin's Creed. Dude, this is going to be so different than what we just read. Like, this is going to be so much emotion.
I like that.
Yes, I know. It's going to be a good palate
cleanser.
Oh,
I know one thing that you guys are going to find out, and I'm going to be like, I know. I'm going to love it. The moment when I'm like, thank you for sharing this with me, because I couldn't handle it when it happened, and I was all alone, and I was crying by myself, and now we get to cry together.
Yes.
Oh, no.
This is going to be good. Okay, and then it says, for Azoth, survival is precarious, something you never take for granted. As a guild rat, he's grown up in the slums and learned to judge people quickly and to take risks. Risks like apprenticing himself to Durzo Blint. But to be accepted, Azoth must turn his back on his old life and embrace a new identity and name. As Kyler Stern, he must learn to navigate the assassin's world of dangerous politics and strange magics and cultivate a flair for death.
Sounds good.
Does. Anytime you tell me Assassin's Creed, I'm in.
Good. And I'm going to tell you right now, if you think you've seen character progression.
No, don't you do that to Peter Brett. Peter Brett knows his characters, okay?
I'm going to tell you right now, which you guys have never known. This is my favorite trilogy. You knew that.
Yep.
But I always thought Peter Brett was like the second to Brent Weeks' character progression. So I'm going to tell you right now. You're going to cry. You're going to laugh. You're going to rage. You're going to feel everything you've never thought you needed.
So maybe don't listen to this at work. Just start crying in the middle of the way.
Oh my gosh. Yes. I've cried. I've laid down and I've bawled my little eyes out from this book, just being like, don't bring me there, Brent Weeks. So he's like, I brought you there and you're staying there. And now you're like, no.
This is why Victoria doesn't like interacting with people. This is it, because she's like, it all ends in sadness and I'm not going to get connected.
Sadness and death and awfulness. No, it doesn't. It's not. I mean, I'm just telling you, if you want character progression, because like I said a second ago, I did go back to read the reviews on this trilogy because I thought maybe I just have some weird love for it and it's not actually true. No, everyone's like, this book will blow your mind. I'm like, yes, it will. Yes, it will. Thank you. It got my confidence back up because I was like, I remember these characters and they impact my life on a daily basis. That's how this book, it may have been the time in my life when I found it, why it connects with me so much. But I'm going to tell you right now, it will make you feel everything that you ever needed to feel, and it's going to make sense and it's going to follow a line. And I know that it starts a little bit slow, or at least it did for me. That's what I remember. But once you get into this, you will not put it down. I read it like boom, boom, boom. So get ready.
I don't want to cry.
I'm very excited.
I tell all my girlfriends, once you get into this, you won't put it down.
All right. We love you, everyone.
Hey, remember,
thank you for listening.
Like, comment, subscribe, tell us what you think.
Yeah.
Tell us what we should read next, what not. We might not listen to you. But
tell us if you read the book, please. If you read Swish and Lose, the 3-Body Problem trilogy, if you're where you're at in it, what blew your mind, if you do read it. And if it's not the type of book for you and you want to go more into this fantasy series that we're reading next, pick up The Way of Shadows, because next week on Saturday we're going to be reviewing it. So
yes, exactly. So thank you so much, everybody. We appreciate it.
Thank you for being here with us.
Thank you for listening.
Good. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.